there everyone, and welcome back. I'm excited for episode 2. I have been running around collecting as much coal as I can because I am going to go on a caving expedition. So I mentioned that I need to get a bunch of string to top off this bamboo to make sure that it doesn't grow any higher than I want it to grow. I went out quite a few nights in a row trying to fight spiders, and after many nights of fighting spiders, I have barely gotten any string. I did manage to get a new friend over here, so I need to come up with a name for him, but I've decided I'm going to go down in the caves and just branch out in every possible direction, torching the caves, lighting them up all over until I eventually find a spider spawner. I have no idea how long that might take. Maybe I'll get lucky and find a mine shaft, and then I can find some cave spiders, or maybe I just find a natural spider spawner. Maybe I also find other spawners along the way, but right now I'm really just concerned with a spider spawner because I need lots of string. If I could find a skeleton spawner, that would be nice too, because bone meal is good, but bone meal I can create a farm for. I know I can create a farm for string, but the string farm is kind of a dupe farm where it just like duplicates it, and I'm not a big fan of dupe glitches, so I don't think I am going to create a string farm. I've already lit up quite a bit of this cave, so I'm going to start looking for branches that go out in different directions. You know, once I find branches, see if I can keep going further and further out. I'm just going to try to go as far as I can until I find a spider spawner. If I get lucky, I'll find a mine shaft. I'm not banking on that, but it would be neat if I do. Alright, looks like we have found a big open area. So I guess this is where I'm gonna get started, just torching things up. I have been editing footage for episode 1 for many hours now, and I'm just at this point a little exhausted from video editing and decided it was time to take a break and play some Minecraft. So I figured while I run around and light up a bunch of caves, I would just kind of talk about my experience with video editing, since this is something I've literally never done in my life before I decided to make this YouTube channel and start recording this Minecraft content. I literally know nothing about video editing other than, you know, what I've learned from watching other YouTube videos and just learning from trial and error. So I figured I'd share some of my experience, some of the mistakes that I feel that I've made, and kind of what I'm going to be trying to do to improve moving forward. For episode 1, I had a total of about 7 hours of recorded content. Up to this point, I've just been going through and trimming a lot of the fat, taking out a lot of content that's just bulk and unnecessary content. There was a lot of footage of me just running around doing nothing of importance, just very boring content that had no need to even be recorded, so I removed a bunch of just unnecessary boring content. There's not very many mobs. I wonder what that's all about, because it's dark down here. There should be mobs. Oh, there's a creeper. Oh, you go boom. Thank you. So I removed a bunch of content, and at this point where I'm at in the editing process, the footage is down to about an hour and 25 minutes of content that is actual content. I'll probably still go through and refine it even more to remove stuff that doesn't really need to be in the video. And I have not even started working on any of the replay mod footage yet. For those who are unfamiliar, the replay mod is what allows me to make kind of the building montages where it's not actually watching this view of me playing, but it's... So the replay mod is what records the session I choose to start. So like if we check my chat log, it shows recording started. The replay mod records the entire session, or however long I choose to record, and then allows me to make videos from different angles, different cuts, things like that, and is really good for especially like building montages and things like that. So I've still got hours of replay mod footage that I need to go through and figure out what is worth including in the video, what is not worth it. All right, and I don't have a bow and arrow yet to go after these guys, so I gotta draw them close so I can hit them with my axe. Get some of these bones. Oh, where's you coming from? Let me just go ahead and... Bow! Pew! 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 Alright, this is looking much more lit up. It looks like that area could use a little more, though. Look at that sunshine from up above. Looks like an Enderman came and dropped off a little block of grass here. Then once I've added replay mod footage, I need to potentially either narrate over that or add music over it. So that's the next step after that. Pew, Then I need to make sure that all the sound levels are good, which again is something that I've never done before. I just, from watching YouTube videos on how to edit videos, the basic tutorial of how to make content. I need to adjust the audio levels, make sure that it, sounds good, figure out what kind of music I want to play. Oh. Figure out the music, figure out any narrations, any voiceovers. Let's go ahead and fight. Another thing that I realized, throughout episode 1, you may have noticed, was playing the Minecraft music in the background because I thought, the Minecraft music is good music. I like it, it's good to listen to, and I thought to myself that would make for good background music for a Minecraft video. The thing that I didn't keep in mind is that a lot of that footage is going to be kind of cut and trimmed, and as it gets cut and trimmed, the audio will also get cut and trimmed, meaning that the music will not be all in one piece. It'll be chopped up, and as you chop it up, it does not sound as good. So as the footage gets chopped up, the Minecraft music gets chopped up, and it just doesn't sound as good. So I thought about it. I will no longer be playing the Minecraft music in the background. If anything, if I decide that I want the Minecraft music, I might just add it in manually. That way... Oh, tough bricks. That means I must be by a trials chamber. So that's good to know. I will make a note of these coordinates so that I can come back here. Not going to jump into a trials chamber just yet, but now I know that there's one here, so that's exciting. So yeah, no longer going to listen to the music while I play. And then if I want Minecraft music in the episode, I will manually add it. That way I can make sure that it's all together and not chopped up and, choppy and doesn't sound good. I also haven't decided, because again, I'm still working through episode 1. I don't know what kind of music I'm going to use. I don't know if I'm going to, get some music from a third party, like some, what do they call that, royalty-free music to incorporate into my videos. That's what I'm leaning towards right now. There's websites where you could pay like a subscription fee to get royalty-free music. So I might do that. I just haven't decided what kind of music I want to go with. So that'll be something I decide in the coming days as I continue editing the video for episode 1. The other thing I realized is I recorded a lot of content that I really didn't need to record. I kind of, if anything, over-recorded. As I mentioned earlier, there was 7 hours of footage that I had to go through and trim a bunch of fat out of. And that takes a lot of time. So I think what I'm going to try to do is only record in instances where I know that this is content I want to put in a video rather than record everything. See, my initial thought was I want to record everything. That way, if anything happens, it will be included in the video. But that means after recording 7 hours of content, I had to watch those 7 hours of content and decide, is this worth it? Is it not worth it? Trim a lot of stuff out. That takes a long time. So I'm going to be more particular about what I choose to record and not just record everything. The only downside to that, and this is actually something that happened in episode 1, is if something exciting happens and I'm not recording, then all I can really do is tell you about it after the fact. So in episode 1, there was a point where I died to a creeper explosion while I was not recording, and all I was able to do was just tell everyone about it after the fact, like, oh hey, I died there, by the way, which, that would have been something if I was recording, would have been nice to have. Also, you may notice I do not have a shield right now, and that is because I am not very good at the fighting aspect of Minecraft. Even if I carry a shield, I always forget to use it. I am, you will notice, very bad when it comes to fighting mobs and any sort of battling. I usually run away, let them come to me. I do not run to a battle. I run away from a battle. Oh, where'd he come from? If I hear the sound of a creeper, I just run. That is my default programming. So that is the other reason I like to light up as much as I can, because I do not want mobs sneaking up on me. There's nothing worse than when I'm running around minding my own business and then all of a sudden I hear a tss. Scares the life out of me every time. Also, my timing when it comes to hitting creepers is terrible, as you just noticed. I know this is a pretty common thing, but I always put torches on the left side of the wall as I run around. That way, if I get lost, I know all I have to do is follow the torches on the way back on the right side, and that will take me back the direction I came. And my goal is to just illuminate every part of these caves. It serves two purposes. One, it'll reduce mob spawning so that I can explore in peace. But two, it's just giving me an opportunity to explore to hopefully locate a spider spawner. So until I've got a good automation system set up, good farms and things, I'm going to have to get resources the old-fashioned way. Therefore, it might take me a little while to gather resources, put builds together. Also, since I'm still running on iron tools and I don't know how soon I'll have diamond tools, I don't know how soon I'll have enchanted tools, mining takes a little bit longer. So this is going to be a slower-paced game, and since it is slower-paced, it might take me a little bit longer between episodes. But my goal is to make sure that if it does take me longer for episodes, I want the episodes to be, good content that people want to watch and are excited to watch. I wonder if this is that same dripstone cave that I found earlier and that I found in the last episode. I am not at all aware of my surroundings right now. Yep, so it does look like I have made my way to those dripstone caves that I found earlier, considering right over there is the lush cave that's all lit up already. So that's funny. I guess I have made my way all the way back around to that same dripstone cave and lush cave that I had discovered in episode 1. That was completely unplanned, but fun discovery. But I would say exploration is one of my favorite aspects of Minecraft. I love exploring cave systems, trying to, light up every nook and cranny, explore as far as I can all the different spiderweb channels that branch out every direction, light them all up, try to mob-proof them, and also look for resources along the way. That is a really fun aspect. I also love just exploring the overworld, finding new biomes, looking for cool and exciting features in the world. That is one of my favorite aspects. I know that I could, in theory, use the free cam mod to x-ray. Oh, where'd you come from? Hello. Let me switch to you. I could use the free cam mod to x-ray and, see if I could find a spider spawner websites where you could enter your seed number and it'll tell you where different dungeons are. I could do that, but I think that takes the fun out of it. I enjoy exploring and doing it the old-fashioned way, find it the hard way, and it feels much more rewarding when you actually find it just naturally by exploring rather than use a resource. I'm not saying that that's cheating. There's plenty of people who do that, and that's very valid if that's how you prefer to play. That's just not how I want to play. I want to find things naturally because that's how I find it to be the most fun. So it might take me a while. I also have no idea. So my base on the surface is around the coordinates 1800 by -4000. So that's roughly the coordinates of my base. And then right now I'm at, 1673 by -42. So that's a rough idea how far I've traveled from my base, considering I'm underground right now and not on surface level, and I am kind of having trouble finding new branches of the cave that I need to illuminate because I've gone through so many here. I think I'm going to head back to base. I've got quite a bit of stuff here. I'm gonna drop off what I've got and see if maybe I could try to find a different direction to branch out from the cave. I'll probably still go to the same cave, but just kind of look for a different branch going a different direction. I am back to the cave where I was at in episode 1, where I came to mine all the tuff from this area, if anyone recognizes this. I came here because I've already lit up a huge area of the main open cavern, so that kind of gives me some protection from mobs, but I haven't really gone through any of the side channels yet, so I figured I could come down here and kind of safely branch out all of the different branches that branch out. How many times can I say branch? Branch out from this big main cavern here, lighting up all the little side branches, and still looking for the ever elusive spider spawner, and hopefully I can find one. We find ourselves on the edge of some deep dark, not going to venture into there just quite yet, so let's turn back. I'm just kind of walking the outer edges because that'll help me locate any side branches like this one right here if I can work my way up to it. Anything up here? Well, that was a dud. I thought that was going to go somewhere. Here we go. This might. There we go. Okay, we have found a dungeon. What is it? Skeletons. Okay, Skeletons are good. Skeletons are good. It's not the spider spawner, but I do need bone meal. Diamond horse armor. Very nice. My horse will be so protected. Golden apple, and we've got music disc cat. Very nice. I'll take the gunpowder. I'll take the redstone. I don't really care about those things for now. Okay, this is good to know. We found our first spawner of this world. We found a skeleton spawner, which arguably probably the best spawner you could find in terms of the resources it gives. Bows, arrows, bones that we could use for bone meal. So I would say this is a very good spawner to have found. Plus we got diamond horse armor, so that's exciting. But this is not what we are on the hunt for. We are looking for that spider spawner. So I am yet again going to continue checking all the different branches of this giant cavern down here until I find a spider spawner, and also collecting all the iron along the way. I wonder, do I have arrows? I do. Maybe it's time to take my first shot. Where'd he go? All right, and take aim. We got it, boys. All right, he's gone. Let's grab my rewards. Let's see what's back here. A very large cavern. Let's go this way. Lots of free-flowing lava. There's zombies coming from up there. We don't love that. There's quite a few of them. Is there a spawner up there? Jeez. Alright, I did not love that. Let's torch this area up. Another thing that I noticed that I'm really bad about is constantly changing the distance from my mouth to the mic. I'm constantly, as I play this game, kind of scooting back, leaning in, so the volume levels when I'm like editing are kind of nuts. They constantly go up and down and up and down, and I need to get a lot better about staying a consistent distance from the mic, just for my own sake. It'll make my life much easier to edit this content. So only for myself, but it would make my life much easier if I get a lot better about staying a consistent distance from the mic, because that's my big problem, is I get too close, get too far away, get too close, get too far away, and then when I'm editing, I'm constantly having to adjust the volume up and down, and that takes a lot of time to kind of edit the volume of a lot of clips. Spawner! Ooh, it's a spider spawner! We found it! Yes! This is very exciting. And now I just need to kill you. There's some string. We'll kill you too. Alright, that was a successful caving expedition. Took quite a bit of time, but I have now successfully located both a skeleton spawner and a spider spawner. So yeah, this, I would say this was a very successful adventure. And now I've got a bunch of iron. Back at my base, I have almost 2 full stacks that are smelting, plus I just got this on this trip, so quite a bit of iron. And in relation to my base, as you can see, my current position, 1709 by negative 4100. My base is at roughly 1800 by negative 4000, so it's not even too far from my base. So I guess for right now, I need to be responsible and get back to editing the video for episode 1, but I just, I needed a break for a little bit and thought this would be a fun break for myself to just run around and look for these spawners. Now that I found them, I'm going to get back to editing, so that's it for now. I'm back up at my base, and so just to make my life a little bit easier, now that I found the spider spawner, I went ahead and made an easy way to get to it. It's not very far at all from my base, so if I run over here, my base is right there, and then this is where the spider spawner is. I just made a big drop down into water at the very bottom there. There's just a little water pool, and then currently ladders to get back up. Once I go to the nether and get soul sand, then I can make a bubble column. But for now, I've got a quick, easy way to get to my spider spawner for when I need string. And I did go ahead and grab just a little bit of string while I was down there. I don't think I'm quite ready to build actual farms yet for those. That'll come at some point, but I want to make sure that when I build a farm, I'm actually putting effort into making it a nice area, kind of build up some sort of structure around it, and not just build a random hole in the ground farm. So at some point I'll get around to At some point, I'll get around to making a spider spawner farm and a skeleton archer farm, but for now, I just grabbed just enough to be able to top off all of the bamboo and the sugarcane where I want them to be so that they stop overgrowing. This is what we've got the lake looking like now. The bamboo is much more controlled. But with that, it's time to start my next project. I have a lot of villagers that are hanging out all around my base. For whatever reason, they've decided they like my base a lot more than they like their own village right over here. So I think that just goes to show that they're ready for an update. They don't like these hobbled together little cottages here. They want something nicer. So I'm going to give these villagers a nice village renovation. But before I start tearing down all their houses, they need somewhere to stay. So I need to figure out a temporary solution so that they have somewhere safe to live, sleep, and exist until I can renovate their village. So the next thing I'm going to do is build a little hotel and resort. That way, they've got somewhere to stay while I renovate the village. Then I'm going to tear down all of the village over there, build something newer and nicer, and then move them back. And then once I move them back, then I'll have a nice little hotel here so that travelers can come and have somewhere to stay, visit the mountains, village, the society that I'm planning to build up here. And I think I want the hotel to go right here. If I go into free cam, there are some big cave openings that I'll have to kind of cover up. I am going to do some terraforming here, kind of make this land. I already did a little bit here because I needed some dirt earlier, but I'm going to level this out, make it a nice even terrain. I think this is a good spot for a hotel and resort. It's not too far from my base. It's not too far from the village. So once I build the resort here, I'll be able to carry all the villagers over here, then put them in the hotel until I can restore their village. Once they're in there, then I'll tear all this down and go from there. But the first step before I can get started building this resort is I need to terraform this area to make it a little more inhabitable and suitable for some sort of build. Now that I have somewhat terraformed this area, I'm about ready to get started with the build. I covered up the cave entrance that was here, and there was another cave entrance over here. I wanted to make sure that this was nice, flat terrain with no gaping caves to fall into or places where mobs could sneak out of and attack me or the villagers once they're over here. But now that the terraforming is somewhat ready for the build to start, I am going to get started. The first thing I'm going to do is just kind of lay out a perimeter of kind of where I want it to be and then kind of get the wireframe started. And then once I've got that, I'm going to continue on with the actual build. All right. I think it's time to be honest with myself. This is not turning out the way that I had imagined in my mind. This is weird. The shape is wrong. I think it just extends too far out and it's too narrow, sticks out too far. It's not doing what I wanted it to do. This is just not it. I think I'm going to scrap this and start over. I just wanted to share because I think it's important to show that sometimes you don't get things right the first time, and it's okay to admit that it's not what you had hoped for and just try again. So I'm just gonna go ahead and scrap this and start over, and I still in theory kind of like the idea that I was going with here, but this location and this scale, this size, I just don't think it works here. So maybe at some point I'll do something kind of with this style build where it kind of slopes up a mountainside and extends out. I just don't think this is the right spot for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this, and we'll have to figure that out for another location at another time. I got my horse suited up in this diamond armor that I found earlier, so he's looking nice and fresh, and he is well protected and ready for whatever the world throws at him. And I am going to continue lighting up this area. I just got a few more jack-o'-lanterns. Oh, I got one more there that I need to turn into a jack-o'-lantern. So I'm going to run around and do some more lighting up, trying to get this as well-lit and mob-proof as possible. I'm actually using a mod called Lighty that if I press F8 here, it will put this overlay that shows what is safe and what is not. And as I mentioned previously, I don't like using torches. I prefer to put the jack-o'-lanterns in the ground, and I feel like that just looks a lot cleaner. So I am trying to cover a nice broad area, so I've got white carpet and moss, so I could go all the way up to the snow-covered peaks above as well. But I am going to spend some time doing that. So I'll dig a little hole, place a jack-o'-lantern, and do that. And looks a lot cleaner, I would say, than a torch on the ground. My focus for the time being is going to be up on the mountains. I want to get that as mob-proof as possible. Are you familiar with the sunken cost fallacy? If you're not, it's the idea that sometimes you've committed so much either time or money or effort or resources or any combination of any of the above into something, and eventually it becomes no longer beneficial to continue investing into that. But a lot of times people will have the mindset that because they have already committed so much to it, that they should just continue committing more. So a good example of that is, let's say you drive a Toyota Corolla, you've had it for a long time, you love it, it's your favorite car, you've taken good care of it, and you have to take it to the shop, something's going wrong with it. The shop tells you it's going to be $150 to fix it, and you think, okay, $150, that's not that bad, I can afford that. So you pay that $150 to fix up your Toyota Corolla, and you start driving it, and unfortunately, it's still acting up. So you take it back to the mechanic and say, hey, my car's still giving me problems here. The mechanic says, oh no, let me take a look, and then says, oh, I see what's wrong. It's actually this issue. That's actually going to be another $300. And you think, okay, well, I already paid $150, so I'll pay the $300 more. You start driving it, and next thing you know, it's acting up again. So you take it back to the mechanic, and he says, oh wow, I can't believe I missed this. Big problem here. This is a pretty huge issue. This is actually going to cost about $1,000 to fix this problem. But the problem is, your Toyota Corolla is only worth $1,000. You've already spent $450 on it. Is it worth it to continue investing that money? Realistically, it's probably not worthwhile, because the car is only worth $1,000. It's going to cost another $1,000 to fix it up. That's as much as the car is worth. But a lot of times people have the mindset of, oh, well, I've already spent $450 on it anyway. Might as well spend the other $1,000 since I'm already committed. That's the sunken cost fallacy. Now, why do I bring up the sunken cost fallacy? The reason I bring that up is in this area over here where I am building my villager hotel, I had an idea, and I was pretty excited about it. I thought it was going to look really cool. I started building it, and I thought to myself, this is not turning out how I had hoped it would. It's actually looking kind of weird. This is not working out how I thought. But I decided to push through anyway. I'd already spent so much time collecting the resources for it and the effort of building it, going through all that terraforming, all the materials and everything, that I just pushed through, and I thought that, I should just commit a little bit longer because I want to see this through to completion. So I just kept going. And next thing you know, it's looking even weirder. And I find myself thinking, this is not at all what I had envisioned, but I had committed so much time and effort to it that I did not want to stop. So I erased it all. I deleted everything. And this is what I'm left with now, after demolishing the failed build that I thought was going to look cool, and then I decided didn't look cool. Now I'm left with this giant hole in the wall. And it took me a lot of time to carve this out into something that I thought was going to be really cool. So now I'm left with the option of, since I've already committed the time and effort into carving this out, and so that begs the question, what am I going to do with this giant pit that I created right here? I could try to just, fill it back in and restore it back to the landscape that existed before I arrived here. And this is where the sunken cost fallacy comes into play. Since I've already committed so much time, should I continue working on it, continue dumping time into it, continue dumping effort into it, even though I'm not certain it's going to work out like I want it to? Or should I just call this one a wash, try to put it back to how it was before, and come up with a new plan? Been putting a lot of thought into how I want to proceed, and I think what I'm going to do, this is going to take a long time. This is going to turn into a much bigger terraforming project than I had anticipated. I think I am going to carve all this out across here so that this is a giant cliff face all along here, one big cliff, so that if I am from right here and looking at this, I just see a giant cliff all along here. This is just going to be one big cliff. And then I'll texture the cliff, make it look really good, and then the hotel will go down here on the ground in front of the cliff. But that is going to be be a huge terraforming project. It is going to take a really long time to dig all of that terrain out. That is a lot of stone, a lot of dirt, and it's a big job. And I'm still using iron tools, unenchanted iron tools at that. So this is going to be a big job. But as I've been talking about the whole sunken cost fallacy, I've already put the time and effort into this, and I've been really debating if it's worth it to continue. I think I'm going to do it. I may end up regretting this decision, but I had a vision and it didn't work out, but I don't think that that's a reason to just completely abandon what I've started. So I'm sorry for rambling. That was kind of a long-winded ramble, but I just wanted to kind of explain my thought process, explain kind of how I'm feeling right now. And with that being said, I think I am now going to get to work on leveling this out to get my cliff face going. This is going to be a huge project. It's going to take a long time, but that's what we're here for. We're here for the journey. How did you get over here? I thought I lit this area up. You get out of here. Bye. Okay. With that being said, it's time to jump into a massive terraforming project that's going to take me a very, very long time. So I have been busy at work, mining away at all of this stone. It has been very time consuming, and who invited you to the party? Oh well, you can stay for now. I've been busy at work, and I came up with an idea. I don't know if this is my own unique idea. It's probably pretty likely that someone else has also come up with this idea, but even if I'm not the first one to come up with this idea, I came up with this idea all on my own. I did not see anyone else do this, but as you can see here, I just whipped up a very quick little auto composter. I just toss a bunch of moss and other compostable stuff in here, and then get bone meal down here. And what I'm going to do, you may be able to tell by my inventory here, moss is insta-mined with a hoe, even if it's only a stone hoe. And bone meal turns stone into moss. And because of all of this stone that I've destroyed, I've got a lot of stone. So as I create more moss, that also essentially gives me more resources to create more bone meal over here at my little bone meal generator. And all I have to do is convert it into moss, and this is much, much faster than trying to mine stone, which takes a very, very long time. I've been going through so much iron. This is going to save me so much effort not having to deal with going through iron, because for one, I can do this with stone, and for two, it only uses 2 of the resource instead of 3. So a pickaxe, whether you know stone, iron, whatever, a pickaxe would require 3, but a hoe only requires 2. Pew. Dead. So I am just going to use all this bone meal that I now essentially have a renewable source of easy bone meal. Just run through, turn it all into moss, and then once it's all turned into moss, I just run through and insta-mine it. And I will not have to worry about running out of stone for the hose, because I have thousands upon thousands of stone in reserve from mining this at the beginning. So this is going to definitely speed up the process of mining this out, because it was taking a really long time to mine this. So that's my idea. So I spent some time testing that method of bone mealing moss, turn it all to moss, insta-mine it with stone hose. It was doing all right. It was saving resources because I was able to insta-mine with stone hose rather than having to use iron. So it was definitely saving me on iron. The problem is it is very tedious running around bone mealing, then mining it, then running around picking everything up, drop it in the chest, convert it to bone meal. It's very labor intensive compared to, you know, the traditional way, just using shovels and pickaxes. I can just kind of go into autopilot, you know, pop in a video on my second monitor, and on this monitor just kind of space out while I mine away. It takes longer and it uses more iron, but my sanity cannot handle this bone meal method. Even though it was more resource efficient, my sanity just cannot handle it. The only downside is I am going through a lot of iron right now. I have gone through like, up to this point, I've gone through like 5 full stacks of iron in pickaxes and shovels because I'm still using completely unenchanted tools right now, and this has taken a long time. And just to see where we're at so far, this is what we're at. I would like to completely level all this so that it's all down to this level. So all this, and then kind of terraform this to kind of be smooth. And then this is where the hotel would go, and then I would turn this into a cool bluff face. That's still the plan. It's just taking so long. But I think I've got to go back to the original method of using the iron tools just for my own sanity. And I am all out of iron at the moment, so I have to go down and get more iron, craft more tools, and then get back to work. This is definitely feeling a lot bigger than an episode 2 kind of project, but I am locked in. We were talking about the sunken cost fallacy earlier. This is definitely a case where I have invested a lot of time and resources into this, and I am now questioning, is it worth it to continue? But I'm locked in at this point. I am falling victim to that sunken cost fallacy, and I am going to continue. At least going back to the iron tool method, I will be able to pop on some YouTube videos and listen to other people play Minecraft while I play Minecraft. The only downside to that is a lot of times if I'm watching Minecraft videos, I can get distracted by if the zombie sounds I'm hearing are from my video or if they're from the YouTube video that I'm watching, and the next thing I know, I'm being attacked by a zombie, so I need to be careful about that. But with that being said, this Moss experiment did not work for me. Maybe it'll work for other people. Maybe it does work for other people. But for me, it required too much focus, which I was not interested in doing. When I'm doing a Terraform project like this, I want to be able to just space out and mindlessly mine away while I watch YouTube or do whatever I would like to do. So that being said, it is time to go get more iron and go back to the original way. That was a wild ride. That took so much longer than I anticipated. I eventually got to a point where I just stopped recording updates and just put my head down, grinded away, mined away all the dirt and stone, and popped on various YouTube videos, Netflix. Right now, this does not look very good. You can see by looking at it, this is kind of boring. I put a bunch of vines there just because I am going to need a bunch of vines here soon, and figured this would be a good place to post them up for now to harvest some before I start the next phase of my build. But let's go over everything that I accumulated during this massive terraform. Every chest in this row is cobblestone. All of these are full. This whole row is all cobblestone all the way to here. Then this row is dirt. Not quite as much dirt. It was mostly cobblestone, but got a good fair bit of dirt. These are other various blocks. Oh, looks like a cobblestone snuck in there. Oops. But we got lots of andesite, gravel, granite, and flint. And then this was the organic stuff. I tried that little experiment of converting to moss and then mining the moss, and I quickly gave up on that because that was just too tedious. But I did get a fair bit of moss as well, so now I've got moss and also got some moss carpet and azalea trees, little flowering azaleas. As you can see, there's a wandering trader over there, and of course I did my boat trick to get a bunch more leads. Throughout this process, I'm now up to 22 leads if you count the one that my horse is attached to. So I've got this area all lit up, so let's take a zoomed out view of things. So now I've got a nice big open space here where the villager hotel is going to go. But first, I want to make this cliff face actually look nice. I want a nice scenic bluff here. Considering how long this has taken me so far, all I have been doing is terraforming. I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to actually incorporate the hotel into this episode. I think this episode is just going to be the terraforming and then this bluff, but I am going to put a lot of work into this bluff to make it really scenic, something exciting. That way when I build the hotel here, it's going to have a beautiful backdrop of this cool scenic bluff. So that's going to be the next thing I work on. And to make the bluff look good, to make sure that I'm able to do the shading, I'm gonna need a bunch of stone, I'm gonna need a bunch of cobblestone, which I've got plenty of cobblestone, I'm gonna need some tuff, and then I want some mossy cobblestone, and that's why I'm growing all these vines here, rather than go out and look for mossy cobblestone in the wild. Since I've got a ton of cobblestone already, I just need to grow some vines, that way I could combine the vines with the cobblestone for mossy cobblestone, and then I'm gonna start terraforming this. But I think what I'm going to do right now is run down to the mines and start start looking for some tuff. I'm gonna need a bunch of tuff to get through this next portion of the terraform. So I'm just gonna run down and find some tuff veins and try to get as many stacks of tuff as I can. And then I'm gonna get started terraforming this into a cool scenic bluff. I've been hard at work. And really quick, since a wandering villager just showed up, let me grab these leads. That is 2 more leads to add to the collection. So I'm going to kind of beautify this cliff. I want to make this a really cool cliff feature. Nice bluff overlooking the hotel that I'm about to build here. So I went down, grabbed a bunch of tuff. I also smelted a whole bunch of cobblestone into stone and grew a whole bunch of vines and got some mossy cobblestone. I've got some extra vines here as well in case I need them. So I've been busy gathering the resources so that I could get started. So I think I'm going to kind of gap this bridge, smooth that out. I don't like that it dips down right there. So that's going to be one part of it, is doing that. And I want to kind of have it overhanging at the top. So I think what I want to do is up at the top, I'm going to come out a little bit and then it'll kind of curve in, maybe indent a little bit, and then in the bottom come out. I also want to kind of add some like waviness to it, so it's not just one flat wall. You know, there'll be sections that come out a little bit, go in a little bit, come out, go in, have some little indentations throughout. But that's going to be the next project I work on. I'm going to get started on that now, and I'll kind of talk through various things as I do them. But the first thing I want to do is kind of create the shape for what's going to be the top, where it extends out, and kind of get that part going. So I'm going to come in here, grab some stone. Hopefully I don't end up regretting doing this with stone, because I put all this effort into smelting it, and it would be quite annoying if after I put all that effort into smelting it, I put it into place and then, you know, for whatever reason I'm not thrilled with it. And since I don't have silk touch yet, I just wasted the effort smelting stone into cobblestone into stone. And actually, one other thing that I want to do, I should do this ahead of time, because I've been having problems with my shift key lately, where randomly I'll be holding my shift key and next thing I know, I'm not crouching anymore. And if I'm standing at the edge of a cliff crouching and my shift key stops working, I don't want to come falling off the top of this cliff. I am pretty sure that would be enough to kill me, or at least get me really close to it. Oh, yeah, something else that I did. So let me go into free cam to show you this. So you may recall that this area here was previously a big open cave entrance, and I did not want to risk at any point while I'm building accidentally dig a hole through the dirt and then fall into this massive cave. So let's say I was digging right here and I forgot that there was a cave under me. I would go falling all the way down here, and that would not be good. So I added a false floor underneath this, so if I accidentally do what I just did now and dig a hole and walk into it, there's something to kind of catch me. Also, if a creeper sneaks up on me and explodes, I don't have to worry about accidentally falling all the way to my death far below. So yeah, I just did that as a little preventative measure to make sure I don't fall to my death. But I want to put an infinite water source here so that I have easy access to it. And I'm just going to put a bunch of water kind of along the bottom here, just to kind of ensure that if I do fall, I have water to land in. And then once I finish this cliff project, I'll remove the water. But for now, this will be a way to ensure that I don't fall to my death while trying to work on this terraform project. Here I am at the top of the bluff. Let's take a look over. As you can see, I've got a bunch of water now, kind of lining the edge. That way, as I'm working up here, as I'm laying out the top outline of the bluff, if my shift key goes out, or if I lose my footing, or if a zombie sneaks up behind me and knocks me off, oh no, pew, I don't have to worry about falling to my death. It will be annoying to get back up, but at least I won't die. But now I am going to get to work on putting the outline of the top of my bluff, and then if I fall, I don't have to worry about dying anymore. Alright, so I just kind of wanted to share some of what I have done so far and what I am working on. So if I zoom out, this doesn't look great yet. Oh, and as you can see, there's a wandering trader up here. I already captured the llamas and got the leads, and for some reason he decided to stand in this hole and doesn't want to leave. But what I've done so far, I'm kind of working on the overhanging section, kind of making it jut out a little bit and filling it in. I wanted to have kind of a bigger bulge here and a bigger bulge here, and then kind of, if we're looking at it from a top profile, just a gentle little wave. I don't want it to be too complex. But then I'm going to kind of make this look a little better. Right now it's very straight lines. As you can see, it just goes down. I'm going to kind of work on kind of rounding those out, making them look a little more natural and organic. But I wanted to kind of work through some of this while I wanted to actually do some of this on camera to kind of get an idea of what I'm going through. It is kind of tedious. Just I run up and place cobblestone as the block that I don't. Oh, and that's why I put a bunch of water down here, because that keeps happening over and over and over. I am not good at working at heights. This has been a project that has been a little difficult for me, working up at heights. It's not my specialty, but we'll go over here, extend these out, and then I want to try to do the same thing. We'll go here. And let's see if I can get one more out. I can. Beautiful. Oh, can I get even one more out? Yes. All right, and so for the blocks that are not going to be in sight, I'm using cobblestone just to allow me to place the stone, since I don't have silk touch. In order to get stone right now requires me smelting cobblestone, so it's a little bit more of a finite resource for me. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's see, get that out of here. And there's an example of some wasted stone, but that's part of what I've been dealing with as I work on this, and comes with the territory. But yeah, so I'm going to go through, place a bunch of stone just like I've been doing. This one's not going to go quite as far down. This one went looks like over halfway down. This one I'll probably just go a little bit further, maybe to about this point, and just go through, fill these out, and then add some texturing, round them out, make them look a little cleaner. I am up here on my little scaffolding project. I just did a little bit more shaping. Let's zoom out a little bit. I've got a nice little wonky looking scaffolding set up here that I've had to use to access lots of different parts of this cliff, but this is kind of what I've shaped so far. Actually, let me get down to ground level and get rid of this scaffolding so that you could actually see what it looks like. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Lots and lots of scaffolding up there. I'm really glad that I put this water down here, because I certainly did fall quite a few times and it saved me from death, or at least severe injury, and it also made it easy to be able to just jump down quickly and easily while I was up there if I needed to. And eat a potato. So it kind of comes out. There's some little waves coming down. Some parts stick out a little farther than others. And then I also plan to do some kind of indentation features here as well. So that's going to be the next thing I work on. But actually, the first thing I want to do is replace this dirt right here with stone, because that looks kind of weird. So let me just work my way up there. And for this one, I think it'd actually be easier to just do it from up here. Trying to work on scaffolding is taking its toll on me. That can be a little bit of an annoying task, to stand on scaffolding and figure out how I need to arrange it to be able to access the blocks I need to access, and it could be a little bit of a pain. Alright, so what I need to do is all of this right here, I just need to replace with stone. Alright, let's go take a look and see how that looks from the front. So that looks a lot better now that I've cleared out that little section. What's going on up there? Oh, we always love when that happens. So I still have, this little patch of coal, some little patches of dirt, more coal over here that I'll have to clear up. But I'll wait to do that, because I'm gonna do some featuring all along this wall, where I'll have some spots that are indented, some spots that extrude out a little bit. But that was the first thing I wanted to do, was get this part done, because I think this is gonna kind of contribute to the shape of the rest of it. So now I'm gonna get to work clearing out a nice little section here for an indentation. So let me just pop down. And I wanted to kind of go with the curve of the feature that I've already built. Perhaps we'll start like right here. It would be nice if I had silk touch, because I keep having to run back to my base, smelt a bunch of cobblestone into stone, and it's a little bit time consuming, and I guess I could move my smelting operation to down here to save me a little bit of effort, but I have not done that, and I have no one to blame but myself. So let's go ahead and clear out a little bit of space, and I'm actually going to bridge over to work on this from here. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of experiment with it, but I just want to make sure. Who put you up there? Well, now I know to keep guard. So, yeah, I'm going to work on that, try to make this look nice and smooth. So, with that being said, I've rambled on long enough. I am going to just kind of mess around with this. I still don't know exactly what outline I want this to have, but we will kind of figure it out as we go. Let's zoom out just a tad and see kind of, does that take the shape I want? So it kind of curves down, then the curve. I don't know if that's what I want, actually. I think it looks weird how it transitions from 4, 3, 2, 3, 2. I think it should be 4, 3, 3, 2. So let me work my way up there. So that's the one I wanted to get rid of. And now, yeah, I think that looks a little cleaner with the 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1. And then it transitions to going the other direction. At long last, I've been sitting here making my cliff, and a patrol of pillagers showed up. I am going to need more boats, and hopefully they don't kill me while I try to capture them. I'm going to take my horse over there and try to capture them in boats before they can hurt me or my villagers. It sure would be nice if you boys would get in some boats. I've got some of them. Oh, I did get all of them. Perfect. All right, so what I need to do is first make it so that they can't hit me. Okay. So, I've got him caught for now. You stop it, sir. No. Every time I get close, they blast me. And actually, I need to get these two guys separated. All right, I need to put that down. Alright, well, unfortunately, this guy killed his comrade trying to shoot at me, but at least I got 3 of them. And so, right now, he is trying to shoot me, but he is unable to do so. So if I sit here long enough, he will actually run out of arrows, and then he will essentially just become a neutral mob. He'll have no way of doing any damage. Additionally, if I go out, we've got the captain out here, and we've got one more guy in here, so we've got 3 total. It would have been 4 if not for friendly fire, which is a bit unfortunate, but now I just sit here and wait on this little fella to wear himself out. And as long as they are in boats, they will not despawn. So I now have it finally shaped the way that I want. I've got some overhanging up in the top, and then it kind of caves in these 2 spots here. But it still doesn't look great because it doesn't have any texturing. So texturing is going to be what really ties this together. So what I want to do is, in sections like this that come out, I want to create an appearance as if there's been water just slowly dripping down over it, make the rock a little bit darker, and then also make some moss growing. And let me show you kind of what I have in mind. So let me go ahead and just clear out some of this to kind of show you what I am thinking. And this is going to be kind of improvised. I don't have a specific plan in mind other than I've got a rough idea what I want it to look like. So I think maybe right here we'll put that. Want to make sure that the mossy cobblestone is touching the moss. And let's see if it looks all right with the tuff also touching the moss. I don't know if that'll look good or not, but we're going to find out together. Put some of that there, that to there, that. We'll put a cobblestone there, and then just a little bit more. Now let's take a step back and see how that looks. So the shaders are making it kind of hard to see. For now, just for this portion, I turned the shaders off. I think I actually want that streak to run down even further than it is. So I really want this streak to kind of look as if water's been running down for a really long time. So yeah, that's kind of the look I'm going for, except imagine this going all the way up here. But for now, I want to get this section is what I think is going to look the coolest. So I am going to get to work on that, and I think that'll look really cool. So I'm going to hitch up my horse and continue on that path. So now I've added some streaks. It's kind of hard to see with the way the light is right now. I've been going back and forth with shaders and not shaders throughout this build because the shaders are adding a shadow effect, which, although it looks really nice, kind of makes it hard to see what's going on with this texturing. So let's turn the shaders off so we could get a better view without the shadows making things dark. So I just used mossy cobblestone, and tuff to kind of create these streaks anywhere where there's a little bit of an overhang. And the idea was just to kind of make it look as if it was damp, as if water's been dripping down, slowly dripping, building algae and moss, staining the stone, making it a little bit darker. So now that I've got that done, the next thing I want to work on is shading within these two cavern areas here. I want to add shading kind of everywhere where a new indentation starts, add kind of a shade effect. And I want to kind of make it look as if light is coming from one direction. So as if light is coming from, you know, the top left coming down. So I'm going to add shading to this side, but not to this side. That way, almost like it looks right now, just with the natural lighting that's already on it, kind of make this side look a little bit darker, make it a little brighter on this side. So I'm going to use kind of a similar combination of blocks like I've been using. I'm going to use some tuff, some cobblestone, gravel, just a little combination of things that I think will make a good texturing effect. So the first step, and I gotta say, I'm getting a little burnt out of working on scaffolding. I kind of wish that I had waited a little longer in the series before I started this project, but I'm already in too deep. It's kind of a shame that I used all this stone that a lot of it's just going to end up getting replaced anyway after I put that effort into smelting it. So just a little example, we're going to do that, and then here we'll put some tuff, maybe we'll put some cobblestone there, and then gravel there. So this is just a small little sample, but if we zoom out just a little bit, you kind of see the effect I'm going for, and we're going to do this on a much bigger scale, kind of all along here. I don't want to put the tuff strictly where the lines meet. I want to kind of sprinkle it in so that it blends. So for example, I'm going to put some on the top side here as well. Every now and again, we'll throw in a mossy cobblestone, and I'm just going to go through and do this all around. And you know what else might look good? Is a little bit of stone bricks. So I do want some cracked stone bricks, and to do that I'm gonna need to run back to my smelting operation. So we'll run here. This was my stone operation where I've been smelting stone this whole time. Let's get some stone bricks smelting. So yeah, we'll let these stone bricks smelt into cracked stone bricks. I think that'll make a good touch on this cliff. So that's kind of a rough idea of what I'm gonna go for, and I'm just gonna go up, set up some scaffolding, and kind of get to work doing that all along in through here, just sprinkling in some tuff, some cobblestone, some mossy cobblestone, gravel, cracked stone bricks once those are ready, and I think that'll have a good impact on how this looks. And then I'll come over and do the same thing over here. But with that being said, let's toss up some scaffolding and get to work. I am getting rid of the scaffolding so that we can see how this looks, and let's just take a look. So my goal with this side was to make the texturing a little bit more spaced out. I wanted to make it look kind of random. I didn't want to cluster together groups of similar blocks. You know, I just tossed a cobblestone here, a tuff here, a gravel here, cracked stone bricks here, kind of spaced them out, as opposed to on this side, because I was trying to make it look a little bit more shaded. Everything is a lot closer together. So you see we've got a lot of cobblestone side by side and a lot of tuff side by side, things like that. So this side, it all seems a little bit closer together, and then over here it's a little bit more spaced out. The next thing that I want to do, I think, is I'm just gonna pop along the top edges here and just replace the top edges with mossy cobblestone to kind of make it appear like, you know, right along the top of the cliff, the plants have been kind of taking over the stone. Moss and grass and leaves, things like that, are taken over. So I'm gonna do the top layer, and then I'll blend the mossy cobblestone to the regular stone with just regular cobblestone. So I'm gonna do this kind of all along, and sometimes there might be 2 mossy cobblestone. Sometimes it'll just be 1 layer, and then I'll put random layers of regular cobblestone. Might even mix in some gravel, because gravel also does a good job of blending the cobblestone to the stone. So if I have this transition all the way through, and now if we take a look out, so now it kind of blends. So if I do this along the entire cliff face, it'll kind of look like there's some, greenery growing on the top of the cliff, and then it kind of blends in smoothly to the stone below. So I'm going to kind of go through and just kind of randomize that and make it look a little more natural. Now that I have gone through and lined the top layer with cobblestone and mossy cobblestone and kind of blended it in using cobblestone and gravel, the next thing that I want to do is put some foliage along the top. So I just want to get a bunch of different styles of leaves. Currently I've got plenty of azalea leaves, but I don't have much else, and I don't want to destroy all the trees right next to my base. So I'm going to go a little further away, get a little ways away from my base, and collect a bunch of different types of leaves. We've got birch, oak, jungle, and then I'm going to use those to decorate the top of the cliff. All right, I've got quite a few jungle leaves, oak leaves. Let's grab some birch on the way home and then get out of here. So now I go up to the top, and I'm just gonna put a whole bunch of greenery up there. So let me get all the different types of leaves. I'm just gonna kind of improvise it. So we're just gonna start up here. And again, there's no rhyme or reason for which leaves go where. Just gonna kind of sprinkle a variety of them in. So yeah, as you can see, not much rhyme or reason to what goes where. Occasionally it's an oak leaf, sometimes it's an azalea leaf, sometimes they dangle down a little ways, sometimes they don't, but I'm just trying to kind of make it random. I think that the more random it is, the better it looks. And I think this will kind of help with the scale of the cliff a little bit to make it look a little larger than it is. And now that I'm getting towards the top, every now and again, I'm going to also sprinkle in a dead bush. Oh, well, that's gone. And so here, we're going to toss that down. And let me get those back. And I'm hoping that from the ground, those will look like trees. I honestly don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm hoping that they'll look kind of like trees to kind of skew the perspective to make it look like this bluff is way bigger than it is. Let's take a look out and see how it's looking so far. I think that's kind of doing what I want it to do, yeah. And then along the top, I'm going to add just kind of some little mounds of leaves. I'm going to start using more of the ones that I've got a lot of, because some of them I'm running a little low here. And the goal is from ground level, if we're looking up at this, I want it to appear like these are, dense forests is at least the goal. Like these are all big groups of trees and not just small individual bushes. I don't know if it's going to accomplish that, but that's kind of the overall goal. I think that is doing what I want it to do up top. Just looking like some overgrowth, some foliage up along the top, some areas it's kind of growing down over. All right, we're finally getting near the end of this big cliff project. I ran through and bone mealed all this just to kind of make it look a little more organic with the cliff in the background. I'm glad that we're getting near the end of this. This was a somewhat unplanned terraform project that ended up taking much longer than I had originally anticipated, and my original goal was to build the Villager Hotel and Resort here, so I really want to get that project started, and I'm ready for this one to be done. I think the last thing I'm going to do is just plop down some bushes all around here, and then I've also got the azalea trees. And yeah, so I'm just going to run through, sprinkle some of these in, make some little bushes all around here. All right, I think this is going to be a good spot to build a villager resort. Now, I've got a ton of space here to build in, and it's going to have this nice scenic backdrop of this cliff. This took me much longer than I had anticipated it was going to take. Initially, I was like, I'll just take a couple days to terraform, and then we'll build a hotel. Definitely wasn't part of the plan, but now I'm glad I did it because it's going to be a nice backdrop for the villager resort that's going to go here. So with that being said, I think I am ready to move on to the hotel, which is what I had started with. So now that I've got the plants and the bushes down, the shading, the texturing, the leaves. I think it's time to at least call this for now. Later on, once I have more blocks later in the game, once I've visited the Nether, visited the End, there maybe I'll get some more blocks that I can use to enhance this. But for now, I'm satisfied with how this turned out, and I think I'm ready to call this one finished for now and move on to the hotel. But that's going to be for the next episode. But on the bright side, now that all this terraforming is done, I can just hop right into building that villager resort and hotel. I'll get that together really quick and easy. So hopefully the next video will come out a lot quicker than this one. Thank you to everyone who joined as I built this cliff behind us here. I had a lot of fun building it, but I'm also glad that it's complete and I am ready to move on to building the hotel and resort that is going to go right here where I'm standing. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm sorry this episode was a lot more talking and not as much building and, not as many time lapses in this episode. With that being said, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, rest of your night, rest of your week, rest of your month, whatever it may be, until I see you again in the next episode. Bye, everybody.